Hello everyone, my name is Vishwaraj and today I will be sharing my personal interpretation of the statement by Carol and Tomlinson. Differentiated instruction is not a set of strategies but a way thinking about teaching and learning. When I first reflect on this quote, I realized that many people assume differentiated instruction simply means having different worksheet, groupings and activities, but Tomlinson is reminding us that DI is much deeper. It is actually a mindset, a psychology, and a belief that every child can learn, but not in the same way, not the same pace, and not with the same level of readiness. As a future educator, I see differentiated instruction not just as techniques to apply, but as a commitment to understanding my students as individuals. This mindset guides how I design lessons, how I observe students, how I communicate with families, and how I create an inclusive environment where every learner is supported. Today, I will explain how this quite connect to the four critical components of differentiated instruction: readiness, interest, learning style, and learning environment. I will also share a classroom scenario and my personal reflection as a future teacher. The first, readiness, is not about intelligence. It simply refers to what student already knows, what they can almost do, and what they will need support with. When teachers understand readiness, they avoid assuming that one single lesson is enough for all students. Instead, they adjust instruction so very child get the right level of challenge, not too easy, not too difficult. For example, some students may already have strong background knowledge. Some may learning the content of very first time. Some may need extra practice and visual support. Differential instruction is a mindset means recognize this difference and planning responsibly. I believe readiness is like meeting students where they are today so they can reach where they need be tomorrow. The second, interest. Interest is one of the most powerful motivators in learning. When the student feel connected to a topic, they naturally engage more deeply and recall information more effectively. When Tomlinson says DI is a way of thinking, I interpret this as a teacher constantly asking what interests my student, what motivates them, what make of curious. As teacher, we don't change the core learning outcomes, but we can vary the themes, examples, topic, and choice we offer. For example, in a writing lesson, one student may write about football, another about cooking, another about animals. In a science lesson, student can choose the present they are finding as a poster, video, or model. Interest-based learning shows students that their background and voice matter. Differentiated instruction is therefore not about controlling learning. It's about inviting students to take ownership. Third, learning style are about how students learn best. Some students are visual learners who need diagram and image, auditory learners who learn better through listening, kinesthetic learners who need and activities, read-write learners who prefer tests and notes. Differentiate instruction require teachers and think about these differences when planning lesson. A teacher who embraces DI does not rely only on chalk and talk. Instead, they make learning accessible through multiple pathways. For example, in one lesson, a short explanation, a diagram on chart, a group activity or game, a note taking and summarize task. The mindset there is if one way does not work for a student, then the teacher must find another way, not give up. Fourth, learning environment. The learning environment is the atmosphere we create in the classroom. It includes emotional, psychological, and social elements. When DI become a way of thinking, teach create an environment where students feel safe and ask questions, defensivity and respect, mistakes are seen as part of learning, students have space and collaborating resources are accessible. For me, a differentiated learning environment is one where a teacher does not stand at the center of the classroom all the time, but instead move around, observe students, support them, and build a community of respect. DI encourage flexible seating, grouping based on learning needs, and allowing students to take charge of their learning. Now, classroom application scenario. Let me describe a realistic classroom scenario from my future practice. Imagine I am teaching a Year 5 Bahasa Melayu class, focusing on writing a short descriptive paragraph. Step 1. Access readiness. I start with a quick pre-activity. Student write 3 sentences describing an object. From this one activity, identify 3 groups. Student who need help forming basic sentence. Second, the student who can write but need help with vocabulary. Student who are ready to expand their writing creativity. Second, connected to interest. I allow students to choose their topic: food, games, and animals. Best friend, a place they live. Suddenly motivation increase because they have ownership. Step 3. Address learning style. I provide different supporters: work banks with pictures for visual learners, oral reads for auditory learners, describe and hack activity for kinesthetic learner, sentence started for those who prefer structure writing. Step 4. Create a supporter environment. Student work in flexible group. A teacher session for guide writing, a vocabulary session, a creativity session for those ready to expand their ideas. Every student writes, but their own pace with different level of support. This example shows DI not easy strategy, but as a mindset of observing, adjustment, and responding. Personal reflection. As a future teacher, I believe that differential instruction is the year of inclusive education. Tomlinson's quote remind me that DI is not about having a long list of technique, but about how I see my student. It means I believe every student can learn. I honor each student's background and pace. I am flexible and responsive. I am willing to adjust my teaching when sometimes does not work. DI transform teaching from a one size fit all approach into a composition and thoughtful practice. It requires patience, creativity, and empathy qualities, and I continue to develop. I want to be a kind of teacher who sees strengths before weakness, possibilities before limiters, and individually before uniforming. Differentiated instruction for me is just a teaching method. It is a committed to fairness, inclusive, and respect. Thank you for listening to my explanation. Differential instruction is more than technique. It is a mindset that allows teacher to meet students where they are, guide them to where they can be. A future educator. This mindset is essential to building an inclusive and exclusive learning environment. Thank you.